Hi, welcome to Wolfpane's Gaming Den. Today I'll be doing a full review for Aqualin, tile drafting and tile laying game for two players, designed by Marcello Bertocci and published by Cosmos as part of their two-player games lineup. So let's start by going to the table and seeing how the game works, and then we'll come back and I'll share my thoughts on what I liked and not liked about the game, as well as provide my final rating at the very end. Welcome to the table. Here we have the game already set up for a two-player game. Aside from the rulebook, you will really have two components to worry about. The game board, which will basically constitute of a 6x6 grid. You will put it in between the two players. Orientation does not matter. Pick any side you like. There are 36 tiles in the game as well. The 36 tiles consists of 6 different kind of animals in 6 different colors. And that's where the 6x6 sort of like comes in from. So you will randomly give it a shuffle as they're face down. And then we will pick any 6 and start our pool to start off the game with. This will be the common pool that both players would have access to put down tiles onto the game board itself. Well, once you're done with that, the last step you need to do is determine who is playing to score colors and who's playing to score type of animals. At the end of the game, scoring will be done based on contiguous areas that are created on either the same type of animal or the same type of color. So for example, if you had 2 of these on the game board, they're both the same color, so they would score points for the player who's playing on behalf of the colors. It would not score points for the player who's playing on behalf of the animals. On the other hand, these two, even though they're different color, they're the same kind of animal, which is fish. They will score points for the player who's scoring on the type of animal itself. So choose who's scoring for colors and who's scoring for type of animals. And once you're done with that, assign a starting player. The game recommends that you pick somebody who's been to the ocean most recently. So you could do that, or you could just pick a player randomly. Once you're done with that, with your 6 tiles face up, remaining in a draft pool, remaining in a pool next to the game board, you're ready to go. The game will basically take place over multiple turns going back and forth between the two players. Each turn will consist of 3 different steps. The first step is you may optionally, and this is an optional move, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, you may move a tile on the board either horizontally and vertically. Obviously, on the very first move, there are no tiles on the board, so it's not something the starting player can do. But on subsequent turns, let's say if we're a little further ahead into the game and you had something like this set up, you could choose to move one of these tiles either horizontally or vertically as far as you choose to or want to within the area that it goes up to the side of the board, or as long as it sort of like touches another animal. So if I wanted to move this, for example, I can move only 1 space here because then I'm touching the end of the board. I can move 1 space here because then I'm touching the other animal on the board itself. You can never move other tiles as you're moving. I could go either 1 or 2 spaces here, or 1, 2, or 3 spaces in this direction. So that would be the first thing you would do, and it's an optional move. The next thing you would do is you would lay down a tile from the 6 tiles that you have here. So we'll replenish this because in the example, we're a little further ahead into the game. You will pick any 1 tile and you will put it down on the board. There are no strict placement rules in the sense that you don't have to go either adjacent orthogonally or diagonally. You could literally go anywhere on the board. So I could, if I want, if I'm scoring colors, maybe I can choose to go here because I'm scoring, potentially 3 different colors together. On the other hand, I could just go anywhere on the board, and that is completely up to me. So there are no restrictions on where you can go on the board as long as it is an empty available spot. Once you're done with the second step, the third step is basically replenishing. So if you've placed this one, and we'll say that I've placed this here, I will just put another tile face up that's now available for both players, and then turn order will pass and the other player will go. The game will keep on continuing in this fashion back and forth until all the 6x6 grids are filled. There are 36 tiles, so they will all fill up the entire board itself. Once that is done, we will basically go on to endgame scoring, and endgame scoring will be determined by points. So the way that endgame scoring will work is, and we'll quickly fast forward to a potential endgame state. And so here we have the game set up with what a potential endgame state could look like. At the back of the rulebook, you will see that there is a table that gets you, that tells you how many points you're scoring based on each set of areas. So let's first of all start off by what exactly you're looking for. So we had said that at the start, you will choose players who will score based on color at the end, or based on the animal type. So let's say, for example, if I was scoring based on colors, there are 6 different colors in the game, and I will look at how many contiguous areas I'm creating with the color tiles of the same type. So over here, for example, there are 4 different yellow tiles that are connected together orthogonally. So these will constitute one particular area that I will score. These 3 together constitute a blue area, which will score points for me. These 3 constitute a purple area, which will score points for me. This 3 together will constitute a blue area that will score points for me. These 2 together will score points for me for pink. You can score multiple sets for the same color, so you're not restricted to 1 set per color. So just look at all the different sets you've created. Each set must be a minimum of 2. So you cannot have a set of 1. So you will take all of those together and you will add up your points and you will score. Similarly, the other player who's scoring for type of animals will look at the different kind of animals that they've connected together, and they will score based on that. So for example, here you have 3 different starfishes together, and they will score for this particular set. You have 2 different fishes here, you will score for that. 2 turtles here, you will score for that, and so on. So you will look around for each of your own setups and you will see how many points you're scoring. As per the table, for each area of 2 tiles, you will score 1 point. For each set of 3, you will score 3. 4 gives you 6, 5 gives you 10, and 6 gives you 15. So if you've been able to max out at all of your 6 colors or type of animals together, you will score 15 points for those. So it's a bit of a rare situation to get to, but it is possible, and the option is there to score it. Add up the points for all the different areas that you have, and whoever has the most points wins. So those were the rules. Now, what do I think about the game? Just to start off, if you sort of went through the entire rules overview, and not if you understand how the game works and what the rules are, you probably already know whether you would like the game or not at this point. And I would say that 8 to 9 times out of 10, your gut check is probably going to be right. If you went through the rules and you went like, well, this is just a kind of light 2-player game or experience that plays in less than half an hour that I was looking for, there's a very high likelihood this is right up your alley. If you looked at it and you thought, no, it's too light, or I don't want something that's exclusively 2 players, then it's probably not. Those are probably the key things that are going to drive whether you end up liking the game or not. But before I go into sort of like my personal sort of like opinion on it, let's quickly go through some of the key items that I considered. So first of all, theme. I would treat this as an abstract game, even though there's sort of like a water aquatic theme going on. It is at its heart an abstract game. You could literally have fruits or vegetables or different colored zombies or whatever out on these tiles, and it wouldn't make one bit of a difference. Well, zombies might make it a little bit more interesting, perhaps, but it honestly doesn't matter. It is an abstract tile laying game. Treat it as that and you're fine. Next up, production quality is decent for what it is. It is a relatively inexpensive game, so you're not expecting really expensive premium components in there, but what you have in is good and does what it's meant to do. The board is not the thickest I've seen, but I think it gets the job done. It's probably sort of like the right thing that you're looking for the game of this type. It takes a very little footprint, which I think is great. It probably would be a good sort of like a game for something that you can take with you on your travels. You can just sort of like put the tiles, you can carry the box with you, or if you want, just carry the board and the tiles in a pack somewhere and you're just as good. It's fairly easy to, from that point of view, and if you're out there putting it out to play on limited surface area, it works quite well and quite easily. So that's on that front. The rules themselves, as you can obviously tell from the overview, is just sort of like 2 pages, double-sided, but even then it's a game that could be taught to anybody in less than 5 minutes easily. In fact, if you're playing with another experienced gamer, 2 minutes and you're pretty much ready to go at that point. So low on theme, sort of like an abstract game that you want to treat it as. Replay value, I would say, is decent. It's not exceptional, but it's decent. I don't see myself playing this multiple times over a very short window, over a short time period. I'm not going to be playing this again, back-to-back games 4 to 5 times, or I'm not going to be playing this 4 to 5 times even in a week, for example. But I would break it out maybe once a week, or a couple of times a week, and it works fairly well from that point of view. If you're looking for something that's light, easy to teach, easy to pick up, learn, very little time commitment, specifically designed for 2 players, this is a very good fit. It's not going to give you deep strategic gameplay, but it does give you sort of like a nice filler weight, as well as a bit of experiential gaming from that point of view. If you're looking for something where you can have the game running almost like in a background and you're sitting with another person, sort of like enjoying a nice chat or a cup of coffee, or a cup of tea or whatever, especially as a couples game, this probably works perfectly for something like that. So if that's something that you're in the market for, this is something that I feel fairly comfortable recommending. If you're looking for something that brings new ideas and new innovative gameplay to the table, this is probably not it. There's nothing in here that you've not seen before, but what there is works well for the most part. So that's most of what I can sort of like speak to the game itself, just given sort of like how light it is and how quickly it plays. There isn't much else, at least for me, to consider when I think about whether I like this game or not. And at the end of the day, I think I do. It's a game that I'm going to keep in my collection for a while. I definitely see myself playing this every now and then when I can, although I'm not going to be playing this multiple times in a month or anything of that sort. But either ways, that's neither here nor there. So if, judging by the description so far, you feel like that this is something that's up your alley or something that's of interest to you, you probably already know the answer, on whether you want to pick this up or not. If this is something that you're looking at and thinking, I want something that's a little bit more deeper and more meaningful, or you're not in the market for a filler, or you're just not in the market for a 2-play game, then honestly, I don't know why you're watching this, but probably wouldn't be up your alley at that point. Yeah, so there isn't a lot much more to say beyond that. My rating for the game, at the end of the day, after all is said and done, I think I would rate this as a B-. There are definitely other 2-player games that I would gravitate more towards for long-term longevity and so on. I tend to be a little bit more of a heavier gamer myself, so if I'm talking about something that's a little bit light, Azul has a little bit more, sort of like going on. The 3 Azul games that are out so far, I would probably rank those above something like this. Obviously, I think Azul is obviously phenomenally good, and so are its sequels. For me, that probably makes a better choice for a tile-laying game. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit lighter than that, especially to, get somebody to the table who maybe is not into gaming per se, this is probably perfect. You don't need to be able to pick this up. It's very easy to teach from that point of view. Yeah, so that's pretty much it from me. I would recommend it if you're looking for a light, quick 2-player abstract game. Have a look at it. It's inexpensive. It's worth picking up. I mean, even if you get a few gameplays out of it, it's probably worth it. So with that, that's it from me pretty much. And thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, please feel free to leave them down below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.